Okay, we're going to talk about adding and subtracting integers. And in this, we're going to have some assumption around the fact that we've mastered um, eliminating sign instances. Okay, so again, a sign instance that we have here in step 0, as we refer to it, is a situation where you have two signs in a row, like 4 plus -3. Here would be two signs. Okay, this is an undesirable situation, so we've done some review and work around how to correct that, and we're going to move forward as if that is fully understood. Okay, so here we're going to learn to apply something called the same and different method. Okay, so steps 0, we're going to rewrite / eliminate any sign instances. Okay, and step 1 is to apply the same or different method. Okay, now for the same method, it means that just using our eyeballs, we see the same symbols. Okay, that would be a situation like here, where I see two of the same symbols, more specifically there and there. It would be nowhere else too obvious just yet. Different would be something like this, where we see two different symbols. Here, where we see two different symbols. Okay, I haven't been able to make a judgment here yet on whether these are same or different, because we in fact have a sign instance that needs to be rewritten. Okay, so in the event that you have same symbols, excuse me, you're going to add the numbers. And what I mean by numbers is just the numeric portion, ignoring the symbols. Okay? And then you're going to keep the symbol. Okay? For the different instances where you, in using your eyeballs, see different symbols, which I guess would be 1 plus, 1 minus. Okay? You're going to subtract the numbers. Again, when I say the numbers, just the numeric part, ignoring the symbols. And you're going to use the sign of the bigger number. Bigger is in quotes here because you're going to need to ignore the positive or negative sign or the add subtract symbol. Okay? And just be looking at the numeric part. Okay, it's a little bit of a learning curve here where you're going to start out slowly with this, but then it's really going to take off and you're going to become very automated with it. Okay, so let's get to work here. Okay, in this first example, it's read -8 minus 12. Well, if you notice, I'm going to call that a same problem, where I see the same symbol. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add the numbers, strictly the numbers. Now you see I'm not circling the symbols. I'm going to add the 12 and the 8 and get 20. And then where it says keep the sign, well, they're negatives, so I'm going to keep the negative sign. Okay, so if you have -8 minus 12, -20 would make sense to me, because if you're starting at -8 and you subtract 12, you're getting worse off. So we are more in debt here. A debt of 20 is more than a debt of 8. Okay, now here, this next problem where it reads -4 plus 9, we can see this symbol and this symbol are in fact going to be different symbols. Okay, so we're going to look specifically at the numbers of 4 and 9 and do subtraction. and come up with 5. And then we're going to see which of these has the bigger number, which is the sign. Well, if I look at the 9, I'm going to think that that is bigger than the 4, and the 9 symbol is a positive. So we're going to keep the symbol as positive and call that a 5. Okay, now in this third example, this example is one where we see it does exhibit the sign phenomenon and needs to be written. Well, we hope our work there has led us to see very quickly that we're not going to change this first number at all, but this adding a negative means to get something bad. Get something bad means it's going to get worse. We can just change it to subtraction and get negative 10 minus 9 is the equivalent problem for it. Now, that being said, if you notice, this is an instance of same signs where they are both minus looking signs. So we are just going to look at the numbers of 10 and 9 and add them. Same as sum, keep the symbol. That's going to be negative 19. Similarly, here in this next problem, we see that it's a sign problem again, because there are 2 symbols in a row. So we're going to see that we're not going to change the first number at all. But to add a negative, again, is to, in fact, get something bad. If you get something bad, it's going to get worse. We could just change it to subtract. Addition of a negative is equivalent to subtraction of a positive, but this little positive symbol here need not be written. And there's in fact a positive symbol here that need not be written. But taking into account that one, we've got a positive plus sign here and a minus sign here. They are in fact going to be classified in a different category. So what we're going to do there is subtract the numbers being 9 and 5. You could always use the bigger one first. Come up with 4. Again, notice I did not use the symbols. I just circled the numbers. Some people like to refer to that as just the absolute value portion of the number. Okay, now that being said, we then need to identify which of these numbers is bigger. And hopefully we're going to say 9 and realize that 9's symbol is negative, making this answer negative. That should make sense because if you start with 5 and take away more than 5, which we have, you're going to get a negative answer. Okay, and in this last problem, we have that it says negative 12 plus 5. Well, negative 12 plus 5, hopefully we could see quite quickly that this is a case where we have different symbols. Okay, which means we are going to subtract the numbers, again, ignoring the symbols for now. We're going to take 12 minus 5 and come up with 7. And we're going to try to examine which of these is the bigger number. And we're going to say that that's going to be 12. And then we're going to examine its sign, which is negative, and in fact, apply that symbol to our final answer. So we're going to get negative 7. It takes a little work. One of the key things is when you're looking at the numbers part, you're ignoring the symbols. And that is going to be a help because you're just going to work with the numbers in one instance and the signs in another instance. Kind of separate it into 2 problems, which, although more, hopefully as you get the hang of this method, it will become, in fact, easier. Enjoy.